Carbon. Carbon is an element that is essential for life on Earth. Organisms need carbon to live, grow, and reproduce. Like all matter, carbon cannot be created or destroyed. So how do all the organisms in an ecosystem get the carbon they need? Organisms cannot make their own carbon. Organisms must recycle carbon from other organisms, animals, or take it out of the atmosphere, plants. This happens as plants and animals make, eat, and break down the food they need for energy. Plants, energy, and carbon. Plants need energy for growth, reproduction, and other cellular functions. The tiny plant you see here is able to meet its energy needs through a chemical reaction involving carbon. To do this, plants need sunlight, water, and carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. As a result of this chemical reaction, called photosynthesis, plants produce glucose, a type of sugar, and oxygen. Plants can use this glucose later to produce more energy, especially at night when the sun is unavailable. Photosynthesis removes carbon, an abiotic or non-living component of the ecosystem, from the atmosphere. The process of photosynthesis places the carbon inside the plant, a biotic or living component of the ecosystem. Photosynthesis process. Carbon dioxide plus water plus energy absorbed from the sun yields glucose plus oxygen. Animals' energy and carbon. Unlike plants, animals are not able to meet their energy needs through photosynthesis. Animals need to eat plants or other animals which are made of carbon to get energy. The process of releasing energy from food is called cellular respiration. This process involves glucose and oxygen. The products of cellular respiration and carbon dioxide molecules, water molecules, and energy that can be used by the body. Every time an animal breathes out, it releases the carbon dioxide along with some of the water produced by cellular respiration into the atmosphere. The result of this overall process is the opposite of photosynthesis. Cellular respiration releases carbon from biotic components of the ecosystem into the atmosphere, an abiotic component of the ecosystem. Plants are unique among organisms because they can do both photosynthesis, using sunlight to change carbon dioxide into glucose, and cellular respiration, changing glucose into energy. Cellular respiration process. Glucose plus oxygen yields carbon dioxide plus water plus energy released. Stop and check. What do plants need in order to meet their energy needs? What is cellular respiration? Carbon cycling and energy flow in an ecosystem. To meet their energy needs, plants perform photosynthesis and cellular respiration. Animals eat food and perform cellular respiration to meet their energy needs. Due to these processes, carbon regularly moves between the biotic, living, and abiotic, non-living components of ecosystems. Review the labeled image that follows. Notice that the carbon from the atmosphere in the form of carbon dioxide, CO2, is used by plants to make glucose, a carbon-based sugar. Making glucose requires energy, which is transferred to plants from the sun. The bison in the picture eat and digest the grass that contains carbon dioxide to meet their energy needs. As a result of the process of cellular respiration, carbon is released back into the atmosphere. Although they are not visible in the image, another group of organisms called decomposers move the carbon trapped inside dead and decaying organisms back into the atmosphere by digesting dead matter and performing cellular respiration. Examples of decomposers include certain bacteria and worms. You will think more about decomposers in the next lesson. Carbon from the atmosphere in form of CO2 enters the trees and grass. The atmosphere is an abiotic component of the ecosystem. The sun is the energy source that plants use to make glucose through photosynthesis. Bison release carbon back into the atmosphere through CO2 through cellular respiration. Carbon in dead organisms, not seen, is consumed by decomposers, also not seen. Carbon in the form of glucose is consumed by bison as they eat the grass. Stop and check. What is one process that moves carbon from the atmosphere into a biotic component of the ecosystem? What is one process that moves carbon from a biotic component of the ecosystem to the atmosphere?